Hello and welcome back to Got Ahead. I say welcome back as before because we very much hope that you have looked at the previous clips for QWERTY, things like Q is for question, W is for wonder, E is for explore, because those stages lead in to what follows. You do stage by stage by stage, and each stage builds. So you have to do them in order to use the technique most effectively. So today what we're looking at is the rank stage. Excuse me. So what do we mean by rank? Well, this is where you are ranking your possible solutions to choose the one that you want to take forward. The one or ones, because sometimes it could be more than one thing that you can carry forward. Remember, you had all those amazing, creative, imaginative ideas in Wonder that had the different features that you looked at, and then you took them forward into Explore, and you used ACEs to select different ideas, to enhance ones that weren't so good, or to take away problems or add something to them, or you combined them together to construct something new. So at the end of Explore, you had a number of different solutions that you had to choose from. You haven't yet put anything into operation. You've just got these solutions, possible solutions. So the first thing you want to do is to actually think about your question, because all those solutions relate or should relate back to your original question in order to be a suitable solution to choose going forwards. My granny used to always say, mind your P's and Q's, which meant be on your best behaviour. Well, we could use mind your P and Q to do your best thinking. Remember the perimeter of your question. What do I mean by that? Remember, what do we want to achieve in the question? What's our end result that we are hoping for at the end of this question? What did we not need to think about? And also, what things must we consider in our answer, what we call the qualifiers? There are all sorts of things that you have to think about. So if you look at the example here, we've got 3 different bridges. We've got the Rialto Bridge in Venice, we've got the Sydney Harbour Bridge, or it could be the Tyne Bridge, all mine, or it could simply be the Digswell Viaduct that's local to us. Each of those has different features. They're designed to cover different bodies of water. They're different sizes of bridge. They're built in a different way with different materials. And all of those features made some designs more suitable or less suitable for what they were needed for. And that's why they would choose one bridge over another in a particular circumstance. And that's what you need to do when you're ranking. You need to look at your question. What do you want to achieve? What do you not need to worry about? And what are all the qualifiers, the things that you need to consider in your answer? And use that to help you decide which of all those solutions that you had at the end of Explore is the best one to take forward. Because the best plan is likely to give you the best answer. So if we look back at the example of our daughter's DT project that we've mentioned before, she had to build a cafe, a 3D cafe in a shoebox, and mention what the materials were which would fit in with the science topic they were doing. So if we were doing this, we would think, well, what do we want to achieve? We want to achieve a 3D model. That's what we want to achieve. We don't need to worry about scale figures, sitting, drinking tea and coffee. But there are things that we need to consider. We need to consider what kind of shoebox for a start. We need to think about what furniture we want to involve. We need to think, okay, we need to think clearly about what materials they would be, and how are we going to show what those materials are in order to show off our learning. So those were some of the qualifiers that we looked at when we were ranking our ideas for the project. Now, there are different things that can help you rank. We have lots of different forget-me-nots. We've mentioned that before. Far too many to put them all in at the same time. So we'll do future clips exploring those forget-me-nots. But today we're going to use two, which are helpful in different ways. And I'll show you what I mean. The first one that we're going to look at is called PIC. It stands for, obviously, pros and cons. You've heard of those before. But the exclamation mark in the middle is very important. That's interesting because PIC is saying when you're looking at your solution, look at all those different features that your solution has. And you're going to rank them to see what's better and worse, comparing them against each other, to see which one you're going to choose. But key to that is that it's not arithmetic. If plan A had 3 pros and 1 con, and plan B had 4 pros and 1 con, you're not automatically going to pick plan B, because it depends what those pros and cons are. It may be that plan C has no pros and 2 cons, but it's got a heap of interesting features, which might be the one for you to choose. Because ultimately, when you're ranking, it's your choice. And that's a very important distinction, because you choosing makes the task personal to you, and it means that you will be much more involved in choosing. PIC is very useful when you're looking at the different features of your solution. So if we look back at the shoebox example, what are the features that we were looking at? Well, one of the features was the shoebox we were going to use. Okay, well, we had children's shoeboxes, which were very small. We had sort of ordinary size shoeboxes. We had a boot box, which technically is still a shoebox, but was much bigger. But we also thought, well, wait a minute, within those solutions, it's not just the size of the shoebox, but the orientation of the shoebox. Are you looking down in to the shoebox? Are you turning it on its side? Are you sitting it inside the lid so there's a terrace area? Or do you actually want to turn it on its side so that it's long and thin and high rather than short and squat? Those are all different features that that you could consider in your possible solutions and rank one against the other. Our daughter was very clear. She liked it being upright, and in fact she wanted to put different floors in, so that rather than it being one room of a cafe, it's actually 3 rooms on different floors. So that was the solution that she really liked when she was ranking for that particular qualifier. Another qualifier, of course, was the labelling. How would that work? And did she want to attach a sticky label to each piece of furniture and each item in the cafe to see what it was made of? Does it relate to what she's made it from in the model, or what the materials would be in the real world? What is it meant to represent? Another possibility would be actually to document all the materials in a few sheets of paper that she hands in along with the cafe. And that's what she went for, because she did lots of research. She had lots of information about the exact materials that she would use, how the materials were different one from the others. She had grids where she looked at how she would rank one against the other. What were the pros and cons of using wood versus metal for a particular thing? So she looked at all those, and that helped her decide ultimately that she wanted to put all that in as a document on the side rather than just one tiny little label, because she couldn't put all that information into the cafe without spoiling the look of it. Another forget-me-not that you can use here is give it a whirl. And I have my little visual aid here. We stole our our daughter's fidget spinner for this. Now the idea is there are 3 important questions that you can ask, particularly with reference to the solution or design as a whole, but you could also look at individual features with it. The 3 questions, it doesn't matter which order you ask the questions. So let's pick one. Okay, what have I got? Is it right? Now this is the kind of the moral or ethical point of view. Is it ecologically sound, for instance? Does it use recycled materials? Might be an option. One of the things that our daughter looked at was she could just use furniture from our doll's house in our cafe. But she thought, you know what? I don't think that's right. I think that's tantamount to cheating. It's not in the spirit of making a model of a cafe. I should be making the furniture as well, not just using what I have already. So the is it right was a very important question for her, and it basically discounted one solution completely, put it out of the game, because she felt using furniture that had been created by someone else wasn't right. It was gone. Let's take another question. Okay, this one is, will it work? Right, it's an important thing, because even if you really like some of your solutions, the bottom line is you're trying to pick a solution that you think will work. Now, it doesn't have to work perfectly at this stage. It's still at the idea stage. So if you say, well, actually, I really like that solution, but I don't think this element of it will work, well, you can go back to the explore stage, and can you enhance that idea? Or construct it by putting it together with something else so that it will work. So you come back and answer this question positively. Yes, I think it will work. You can always review what you do as you go along. And if you think there's a problem, just look back and sort it. If you think that your solutions haven't got enough ideas in them, you could go all the way back to wonder if you want. Come up with more ideas, feed them into explore, come up with more solutions, and then rank again. There's nothing to say you can only go in one direction. You can skip back looking for more new ideas in wonder, do a wonder again, or you can do explore again if you want to fix some of the problems by enhancing them, or by combining other ideas with it to construct something new. And of course the last one is, do I like it? And as I mentioned before, that's a hugely important question, because if you like your solution, you are going to be so much more enthusiastic, you're going to be much more passionate about it, you are going to be so much more engaged, you're going to find it so much more fun doing this. So try and pick solutions that, yes, are right, yes, you think they will work, but make sure, if you can, that they are ones that you like. Obviously, there are criteria you can't control. What is the teacher asking for, or what is the parent asking for? If you're going in for a creative writing competition or an art competition, the judges will have criteria that you have to meet. So you can't always only do what you like. But if you can, pick solutions that you are fully engaged with, because you will get a much better final result. So that's rank. Remember your question, remember the perimeter of your question. What is it that you have to have? What do you want to achieve? What don't you need to think about? And what are all your qualifiers? The things that you have to look at in detail, what you have to consider. And in rank, you decide what your criteria are for judging. What do you think is more important out of those qualifiers than something else? And that will help you choose, is it solution A, is it solution B, is it solution Z? And then you take that forward into the next stage, which will be the target stage. And we shall hope to see you again there at Target, and our other YouTube clips like the Forget-Me-Nots that I've said we will bring out in due course. Also, go to our website. There are plenty of resources on there, including a link to how to make your own fidget spinner if you fancy one and don't have one already. So that's www.gotahead.com, and we shall look forward to seeing you again.